If I have learned anything over the past few years of building in Minecraft, it's how to embrace the ugly phase of building. You know that part of building where everything you've built so far looks awful and you're about ready to tear it all down? Yeah, that phase. Don't tear that build down. If you embrace it and keep going, you never know what might come out of it. And today I am going to show you how I have taken an ugly build, in my opinion, and turned it into something amazing. Now this is a copy of my Cobblemon X Create series base. It's not the exact configuration that the survival world is in, but it does show you how plain my base is with only stripped birchwood. There's really no color or detail and the base just kind of fades into the background. And I'm kind of thinking, like, how can I make this look even better? Like, how can I bring in some more detail, make it look kind of cool, because my plan is for a huge bee-like city, right? All with contraptions and builds and kind of industrial bee vibes. So I was thinking, what if I extended these honeycomb buildings and I made them almost into skyscrapers? Now, of course, this looks ugly. This is just wood, okay? But I wanted to get a height and just test it on one of these before I go in and, change up all of that down there. But I was thinking, if we had something like this, we can then take a block. I don't know what block. This is gonna be very unedited, so you are legit just watching my brain work at this point, because I don't really know what I want to do or how I want to do it. Iron trapdoor, copycat trapdoor, because if we were to take this, we could kind of make B-shaped windows, I guess we could say. Here, I don't really know if this is going to be a B-shaped window. It's a honeycomb-shaped window. It's really not, but we could, right now, we could certainly just throw in some birch logs, and then we would, of course, open this up, and that already, there's a little bit of texture and difference, although it's birch logs, so let's be real, it's not particularly that way. But I would like something like this. We do have like the cogwheels and stuff that we could certainly put on, because I want this to feel a little bit more industrial than we got going on. Like right now it's just very simplistic stuff, which is not bad, but I definitely want something different. Because I was wondering, can you do this and then, I don't know if this is the way to do it. No, okay, I was like, can you actually take away the sides? But it doesn't look like that's possible, so it would legit just be this, and I'm not sure I like that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's not use the copycat stuff, because that's going to be a pain in the butt once I'm trying to deal with stuff. Well, let's just grab a trapdoor, and hey, I like spruce, it's fine. And we'll just do spruce of these items. At least then there's some difference, and you can play around with it here. But let's break out this, and we will detail it a little bit later. But if we were just to take some trapdoors, like so, doesn't look great. Yeah, does not look great. But you know what? We are working on things. You always have to work through like the ugly phase. I find there is always an ugly phase to everything that you do. And if you're constantly like destroying things because you think it's ugly, you'll never get past it, and you'll always think your builds look awful. And more often than not, that is not true. Normally is you just gotta be patient. I think those have to go here, and we could probably put this guy in a weird little side one in there, maybe. I don't know. I want some like balconies. I think some balconies could be really cool. So what if we were just to do something like that? I'm almost wondering, maybe we need to pull in some stairs. I don't know if that really sets off balcony vibes, because you could also do something here with the trapdoors. And you could then like lay out a fence, right? Because then you have a way for people to be on the balcony. I don't love it, but I think I don't love it because there's just so much spruce going on, and you got to look past that. You got to look past that piece of it and simply look for the shape. Do you like the shape? And I don't know if I like the shape yet, but we will continue working on this a bit. Okay, let's leave that. Not loving it. So we're going to continue on the vein here that we had originally. So we can definitely add in another one of these. I think right here should be fine because we've just been doing like 2 blocks in between everything. It does get the vibe of more like those holes, right? That you would see in a regular beehive. Not sure it's quite coming together like I want, but it's something. I think too, like with the shape that I've got, I don't love this like I wonder if could we take this one oh hello and just add it a straight wall. Does that look weird? Possibly. Yeah, like that's the thing, like I like this one right here sort of, even though they're all the same shape, so I don't really understand. I don't know, guys. We're gonna leave it flat for a second because I think it will help more with the vibes of having this towering apartment building. And then I want to do some texturing just to see if I like how this is coming along. So right now we've got birchwood, and while I don't mind the birchwood and it's a lot easier to build like early game with this birchwood since we're in a birch forest, I want some like I want some bits and pieces in there that make this look more detailed, more expertly built, I guess is the word. I do like green colors. I think green is cool. Like I think having blocks of bamboo somewhere could be really cool just because it's not a block that I often, build with. But I think it can look really incredible. Does it look incredible with this build? I don't know. I'm not exactly loving that, but you can also use green blocks like I have here with the leaves, right? Like I think even that added bit with the leaves helps a lot. But I want something else, and I have been looking at blockpalette.com, I think is what it is. And this blockpalettes.com. Definitely check it out. There's a lot of like cool little block palettes that you can kind of browse through and see what looks good with each other. So if we were to get for ourselves a little bit of the mossy things, basically. Oh, they even have mossy holy stone from the Aether. Like, okay, kind of cool. Not what we need right now. So if we take like mossy cobblestone, maybe mossy stone bricks, we do not need the infested ones. We could potentially just see what some green colors, because like green terracotta could come across all right. So if we were to take this, we would of course want it, I think, just like as a bottom layer, to kind of make it so that this feels like it's sitting on something, right? Hey, what if I just put, no, I think we would need moss there. I think if we actually put like a moss block, I think that's fine. Add some of those in. But you could have that where it's like, actually, that is the foundation to your build, and then you have the birchwood up above that. Is this very beehive-like? Debatable, but we're working on it. Trial and error. I'm sure it'll be fine. Now we could like maybe not have it all mossy, and we could add in some like regular. That could potentially work. I might move the windows up by one because I'm not sure that I love that this window, if we keep it, is like on that base. But then from there, we need more details because I don't like how like flat this is, right? Don't like it. I also kind of want to see if we can't do a couple of pops of color. So I know I said green. What if we did yellow, because it's supposed to be an actual beehive? We could use like this yellow concrete or like yellow terracotta, which might actually work. What if we did like some color splotches in here? I'm probably not explaining myself very well, but just stick around. I'm sure this will come out well, maybe. But what I'm thinking is maybe something like this, where you just kind of build out this color from like light to dark to different textures. I know there's a lot of like smooth textures here, but it is what it is. Let's see, this one can maybe go away. That one. And of course we were thinking of doing this. But now you kind of have a little extra color, and I don't know if that's like too much, because it also makes it look a little bit more splotchy. Also, the spruce trapdoors doing nothing for this build. Absolutely nothing. I hate them. Not working. But we are going to keep with it for a little while longer. Embrace the ugly phase. Have to keep telling myself that. So that is a possibility, but then you also have that problem of like, well, how do you transition that into the birch logs itself? Because that doesn't overly work, in my opinion. So we could do something like that. And then you're just like thinking, and you're like looking at this birchwood white, and you're like, how much birchwood do I actually want? Do I really want a bunch of birchwood? I don't know. Wait. If we were to take this and this one, because I am producing oak logs too, I'm just producing them mainly for apples, because I want apples as my food source, because you can make honeyed apples. And I think it's just cool because, you know, bees. But this might be a better transition block, right? Oh, that's definitely a better transition block. Goodness. Okay, just a little something like a so. Because then you can actually, like, keep some of this birchwood in it. But you still have some detailing. I like that. It's a better transition block from the yellow terracotta straight into the birchwood. That's kind of cool. Does it look too mottled? Mottled? Is that a right word? I don't know if that's the right word. We gotta get rid of these spruce trapdoors. They are throwing me for a loop and I hate it. It's just not working for me. I still feel like you need something to accentuate the windows, but actually you look further back. I'm not hating it. It is a lot of color, but that's been something I've been trying to work on in my builds, is trying to actually get like a lot of color into them, because I love color. Plus I love to try new things. Oh my goodness, guys, I really do love to try new things. So if we were to take away these spruce trapdoors, and I would like to think about something here, because what's the word? Right now we have that color texturing, which I think is really cool. However, we don't have a lot of depth, right? Like there's not really a lot of depth to this. There's a little bit with some windows, a little bit just because it's more of a circle shape. But it's not like a huge amount of depth, and I want to change that, and I'm wondering how to create that illusion of there's depth without like ruining the build. I know putting walls someplace help. It's kind of why I put in the windows, because I thought we could do a little bit of that, but I almost want it to have like a double, I don't know, like fences and walls and that kind of thing. Like I want a bit of that, and I'm not sure how. Now you could of course bring in the acacia fence, because they did say, like, you know, acacia coloring could be really cool, and I'm not mad about that. That's actually not that bad in color schemes. I want this, like this straight into here is where I'm getting thrown, because it's just, I don't mind it. Like, I like the foundation. It's just, it's too flat. I need some depth into there. And normally, you know, you put some logs across or fences or something like that. And I'm just not loving any of those ideas in my head right now. Now, of course, we could just put like greenery and leaves and trees and that kind of thing all around, but I just, I'm not sure that's the only thing we could do. My idea is probably not the best idea, but we're gonna try it. So if we were to take our lovely acacia fences and just kind of, you know, build them up the side. And then what if we were to make this into more of like a vine tree thing? I've done this in my BattleCraft world and I actually kind of like the look of it, and it gives off the depth that you want, but also the greenery. And I really do like adding the greenery to builds. I think it looks really cool. And you always like a little bit of holes. Holes are good in your tree builds. But yeah, you have like a little bit of a vine crawling up the build. Not mad about it. Also like the acacia. I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, so you could like continuing it off here. Now, of course, we could just like pull back and like meet up, right? Rather than just having individual ones. This does help a little bit with figuring out what to do about this base, because you have the trailing vines, so you don't need to worry about it quite as much. Actually, no, that has to stay if we're gonna do it that way. Guys, we're gonna keep going with this because I do actually really like how this is looking. Of course, we probably should not. Oh, wait, too much. Here we go. Probably shouldn't put it on that wall until I actually figure out what I want to do with that wall. But we could take, break this, pull this up, because I think what I would like to do is just like continue this kind of vein all the way up to the surface. The surface? The roof. I don't know what we're gonna do for the roof. Do we just do flat? Probably. Probably just do like a flat roof. And if we really, really wanted to, we got all of like this trailing ivy, if you want to call it that. We could put like custom garden stuff on the top as well, instead of just the glass flat roof. There's potential. I don't know. Is it too detailed? Never. Never. Not at all. But I kind of like that, guys. I kind of like that it's becoming more of a city. Like, that was one of the things, like, originally I wanted to do the builds inside of the ground here, because then you can just expand as much as you want. You don't have to worry about building the building over it. But the more time that I've spent in the survival world and have been looking at those builds, the more time I've been like, do I like this? It's just very flat, and of course there's not a lot of detail, where this definitely gives you more. And also like gives a bit of height, which I like the height, guys. I really do like that aspect. You know, I like the grandiose. I don't know. I just like the look of things that are larger, more grand. It also gives you the ability to do that detailing into it, and not just feel like you're putting, you know, 20 different blocks into a build. I think small builds can be detailed, absolutely. I have a friend who did exactly that. But I do like the bigger builds where you can just add in the extra colors and details and the like. So far, I'm actually liking how that has come together. Now, the only problem is in my survival world, I have a small windmill right back here somewhere. I don't know. Anyways, it's back here. And that would be a problem if we were to build this bigger skyscraper out here in the front. We could just raise it up and we could put the windmill like on top of the builds. Certainly an idea. Kind of liking this. Let's just see if we can grab a little bit of glass. And I'm going to use the orange stained glass just because that is what I did end up using in the survival world. it was a complete accident on my part. I looked at it and was like, oh, that's orange. It's not, no. But yeah, just having something like that in the windows could be really cool. So then here on the roof, we would just have to decide. I do like having the glass roof, so we might just keep with that. But I also want something here at the top. So what would that look like? Unsure. Do we make like more of an industrial looking roof? Guys, if I were to take, I don't think windmill is the right word. Oh, it is. If we were to take like a windmill bearing here, is there a center? There is. Okay, good. You could just like do it like this, right? I actually kind of like that. I think that could work really well. Hydropower in a way, but also make it like different and beautiful and integrated into the builds. I love simple builds, but I'm getting to the point that I want to make sure that I'm still pushing myself in the builds that I am creating. And I think this is a bigger push than what I did over there and on the survival world. And with a little bit of love and a little bit of work working through that ugly phase, guys, we've got something amazing here. I am so happy with what I was able to do with this base. We've got movement, we've got color, we've got honey. Lots and lots of honey. So I didn't record any of me doing this. You can see a little bit of it in my final episode, survival episode, where I built it up there. But basically, I decided to build up the rest of these towers here in differing heights. I didn't want them all the same height. I needed them to be a little bit different to kind of get away from the castle vibes and focus in on the factory vibes. And here in the center, I thought this honey pot would just work so well for adding in some movement by having some flowing honey, but also just a little added detailed piece to really point towards the fact that this is supposed to be more of a bee-focused factory. With all of the windmills here on top, I did end up going for the taller windmills rather than the flat ones that I had ended off with. I think it looks better that way. I think it adds in the height, but also you can then see the movement from further away and not, having it quite as hidden. These cogs here do absolutely nothing except move, and I am not mad about it. I think that movement just really looks so cool in this base. I love it. We've got the flowing honey, which it's literally just honey flowing into this container, into this honey pot. It does nothing else except flow in there. And then, here on the back, I have a little bit of a water wheel. And it's just one bucket of honey that this pours out into a pond right here. On the survival world, it's positioned a little bit differently. So it's not here, basically. It is in a different location. But this honey pond here that I need to detail up in the survival world a lot more. And then we'll have like a river of honey flowing all the way down through our valley. That will definitely be coming. Guys, this base came out so nice. You of course will be able to see all the final details, including the interior design that I went with, if you go and check out my survival video on building this up. But I am super happy with the color and the design and just the block palette that we picked out here. I know I didn't finish it here in the creative world. It is a much more fixed in in the survival world. But yeah, super happy with how this came out. I can't wait to add even more. Of course, I would like to add in some custom trees and stuff. And I really need to make sure we're still integrating the base into the surrounding terrain. If you did enjoy this type of video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video if you want some more of these. I had a lot of fun doing this type of video and showing you kind of the behind the scenes process. So definitely let me know down in those comments what you thought of it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.